Understanding human nature and behavior have fascinated philosophers, psychologists, scientists, and artists for thousands of years. From the ancient question, what makes us human, to modern neuroscience quest to map consciousness, the pursuit of understanding why we think, feel, and act the way we do remains one of the most profound endeavors of our species. At its core, human nature refers to the fundamental characteristics, instincts, and tendencies that appear consistently across cultures and throughout history. Human behavior, on the other hand, is the observable expression of those internal forces shaped by biology, environment, culture, and personal experience. The eternal debate, nature vs. nurture. One of the longest-running discussions in this field is the nature versus nurture debate. Are we born with a fixed nature, or are we blank slates molded entirely by our environment? Modern science has largely moved beyond this binary view. We now understand that genes and environment interact continuously. For example, a person may carry genetic predispositions toward anxiety or high intelligence, but whether those traits fully manifest depends heavily on childhood experiences, nutrition, education, culture, and even stress levels in the womb. Evolutionary psychology suggests that many human behaviors, such as fear of snakes, preference for sweet foods, desire for status, and tendency toward tribalism, are adaptations that helped our ancestors survive. However, these ancient instincts often clash with the demands of modern society, creating much of the internal conflict we experience today. The dual nature of humanity throughout history. Thinkers have offered contrasting views of human nature. Thomas Hobbes saw humans as inherently selfish and competitive, the life of man, solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Jean-Jacques Rousseau believed humans are naturally good and that society corrupts us. Sigmund Freud proposed that we are driven by unconscious desires, particularly aggression and sexual impulses, kept in check by socialization. Abraham Maslow and humanistic psychologists argued that humans are fundamentally oriented toward growth, love, and self-actualization. The truth, as usual, appears to lie somewhere in the middle. Humans are capable of extraordinary kindness, creativity, and courage, as well as terrible cruelty, selfishness, and destruction. This dual capacity is perhaps our most defining characteristic. Key drivers of human behavior. Several fundamental forces shape how we behave. Emotions as decision makers. Contrary to popular belief, humans are not primarily rational creatures. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio et research shows that emotions are essential to decision-making. When emotional centers of the brain are damaged, people struggle to make even simple choices. We feel first, then rationalize. The need for meaning and significance. Humans have a deep psychological need to feel that their lives matter. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and founder of logotherapy, observed that the search for meaning is the primary motivational force in humans. This explains why people will endure immense suffering if they believe it serves a purpose. By social belonging, we are fundamentally social creatures. Our need to belong is so powerful that social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. This drives conformity, tribalism, virtue signaling, and sometimes moral courage when defending our group. Cognitive biases. The work of Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky revealed that our brains use mental shortcuts, heuristics, that often lead to systematic errors in thinking. Confirmation bias, loss aversion, the Dunning-Kruger effect, and self-serving bias powerfully influence our behavior, often without our awareness. Understanding behavior in practice. The practical value of understanding human nature is immense. In leadership, recognizing that people are motivated more by purpose, autonomy, and mastery than by money alone leads to better organizational cultures. In relationships, understanding that most conflicts stem from unmet emotional needs rather than surface issues creates space for empathy. In marketing and design, deep knowledge of psychological triggers and cognitive biases allows for more effective, and sometimes more ethical, influence. In self-development, recognizing our own biases and emotional patterns is the foundation of emotional intelligence and personal growth. The path forward. True understanding of human nature requires humility. We are simultaneously predictable and mysterious, selfish and altruistic, rational. The more we learn through psychology, neuroscience, behavioral economics, and evolutionary biology, the more we realize how much remains to be discovered. Perhaps the highest form of understanding is not to perfectly predict human behavior, but to develop compassionate insight, the ability to see both the darkness and the light in human nature without losing hope in humanity at potential. As we develop increasingly powerful artificial intelligence and reshape society through technology, our understanding of human nature becomes not just an academic interest, but a civilizational necessity. The better we understand ourselves, the better choices we can make about the world we want to create. In the end, understanding human nature is less about finding final answers and more about asking better questions about ourselves, others, and the kind of humans we want to become.